All right, so I think we're ready to begin.
I know I'm supposed to introduce you.
Oh, are you? Okay, great.
My apologies. The keys to successfully marketing your hotel, pub, or restaurant today. I know nothing about that in the bus industry, but I was asked if I would just do a quick introduction, and you don't want to listen to me. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce Ronald Lee from Eat Marketing, and he'll take over. So Ronald,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And I'll be back.
Great, thank you. So how was everyone this morning? Good? You guys excited? Good breakfast today? Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? So today, I want to thank you all for coming to the Host 2012 conference and to my talk, The Keys to Successfully Marketing Your Hotel, Pub, or Restaurant Today. Now, this talk today is a very special talk. It's one of the few marketing talks at this conference, and it's really geared towards making sure that by the time you leave today, you will have a clear idea about several keys on how to market your brand, no matter what it might be. I'm going to also announce some special news services that Google has recently announced to Vancouver, which I'm really excited about. And I really have a leave no man behind policy when it comes to my education and when I give talks. So throughout the talk, I encourage questions, but especially at the end, feel free to find me. I'm also in the other room downstairs at booth 819. Feel free to flag me down and ask me whatever you want then. So today, again, we're talking about marketing. So I want to ask you guys, why are you here? Out of all the talks you've gone, there's 4 going on right now, and I'm sure you guys are busy at your place of business. What inspired you to come and learn about marketing? So maybe if you guys can yell a few answers. No need to raise your hand.
Make money.
Make money. That's always a good reason to market. Yes? Any other reasons?
How to service this industry better.
How to service better. Excellent. Good one. Everyone hasn't had their coffee yet, right? Right. Learn new techniques. Okay. I often hear that people are overwhelmed by marketing. They don't know where to start. There's so many tools out there. They don't know how to use it properly, and they don't have time. They don't know what to focus on, so they don't focus on anything. So one thing I'd like to ask as well is who is in the room? This is a unique conference. It's pretty much the biggest one we have in Vancouver, or definitely in Western Canada for hospitality and tourism. So how many of you are hotels, by show of hands? Almost half the room. That's impressive. How many of you are restaurants? Okay. How many of you are marketers? Wow, good for you guys. Students? And how many of you are marketing for yourself? So you're learning how to market today, so you can go back to your business, restaurant, or hotel, to market better. So a good, maybe 3/5 of you. All right, great. All right, so how many of you think I want to sell you something at the end? One person, okay. You're actually wrong. I'm not going to sell you anything, but I will make an offer and hold a draw. Now, I left 70 draw forms in the front seats here. By the end, if you want to enter the draw, just come grab one. I know there's a bunch of unclaimed ones here, and fill up the draw form and give it to me at the end. Alternatively, again, I have a booth over in the expo at booth 819, and I also have a separate draw there as well. So you're welcome to come. You'll find out what the draw is as we talk. All right, so today's agenda for marketing is marketing is changing. I'm going to be talking about what the new way of marketing is, the 2 types of marketing activities that any marketing or marketer person can do, the key strategy that you will take away from this talk, as well as the 2 new services that Google is offering that just blow me away and hopefully will blow you guys away. So again, if you don't understand any points, come meet me. I'm very, I try to be as helpful as I can, especially when I give educational talks. And more about myself. So I'm a marketer. I've been marketing for a number of years, first as a filmmaker, and then taking a foray into personal coaching industry. But I've been marketing since 2008. I run a few large business networking groups on Meetup. I network quite a bit. And I actually have two agencies. One is called Eat Marketing, which is for restaurants, hotels, and food brands, because I have a background in that industry. And the other is Elevated Marketing, which is for everything else. What I do for both is exactly the same. It's hybrid integrated marketing. But of course, your audience is different, so we're niching our message differently for each one. So today, marketing has really, really changed. How many of you guys have heard that we are in the information age? Right? We've all heard this from the 80s and 90s. Well, today, I contend that we are no longer in the information age because today we're overwhelmed by information. You can go to Google, you can type in whatever topic you want, and you get pages and pages of results. So it's been said that we have enough information created every day to fill 7 libraries a day. So that's incredible. There's no way that you can consume all that information. So rather, now that we're satisfied our hunger for information, we're now looking for recommendations from our friends. So today we are in the recommendation age. Now, how many of you guys have gone to a restaurant or bought a nice little bar of soap because someone told you it was really good? How many of you guys have gone on social media or asked people in your office for recommendations on where to go for dinner? Why do we do this? It's because we trust our peers. We believe what our friends tell us to be true, and this is regarded, there's actually a law about this called Zipf's law, which is in the absence of time, we will naturally default to the brand that we believe to be the most reputable. So if people are telling you, go to the Keg because it has the best steaks ever, chances are you're not going to go research every restaurant that serves steaks. You're going to go to the Keg because your cousin or your friend told you it was really good. So today, this is important for you to mind. If people are recommending services and brands to each other, then you want to put yourself in the position that you can be recommended. Now, some non-surprising numbers. When it comes to the internet, 93% of people research their service or product that they're looking to buy online first before they buy. So how many of you guys have gone to maybe Trail Appliances and looked at a number of models for dishwashers, and then gone home and Google the reviews for that? Or go to a Future Shop or Best Buy and looked up a laptop and decided to go home and see what the reviews are. We've all done it. It's natural for us today because information is so easy. We want to make sure we don't buy something bad. Well, 3 out of 5 people today are using online search engines as a shopping resource. So not only are they going home and Googling reviews, now more and more often than before, people are buying things online. So how many of you guys over the last 12 months have made a purchase online with your credit card? So that's 80% of the room, and I know the other 20% you're thinking about it or lying. All right, myself, I'm addicted to Amazon.com. So yeah, I buy a lot of stuff up there. Just you can't compete sometimes when it comes to online pricing. However, online marketing is still in its early stages. The internet's only been around since 1991 and really taken off since 2001. So it's been around for maybe 10, 11 years. That is a very short period of time in human history of development. And as a result, people haven't figured out what to do online yet. It's still the wild, wild west. Anyone who goes out there and tries to establish their own brand or create their own marketing are really reinventing things and putting their own stake in the land, so to speak. So this is why I have a picture of John Wayne. All marketers are cowboys. You're going out there trying to figure out what to do, and hopefully you do it better than everyone else, so you don't lose the showdown at noon. There's lots of room to grow. Because the internet is so young, the sky's the limit right now. It's really low-hanging fruit for those who know all the market. How many of you guys have heard of MySpace? Bunch of you? Okay. That was so big around 2004, 2005. Look what happened to it now. Facebook came out around 2004, 2005, and now it just eclipsed everyone else. Who knows what will come up next? But nonetheless, I'm pretty sure that there's something beyond Facebook. There's more room for growth out here, and if you guys are able to predict the future and stay ahead of the curve, this is a chance for you to capitalize on that growth. And it levels the playing field. Now, how many of you guys have put an ad in the paper at some point in your business? Okay, it costs how much? Too much. Okay, good answer. Well, to put an ad in, like, say, Vancouver Sun or Vancouver Magazine, you're looking at $5 grand, $10 grand. Well, who could afford one of these? Well, a large brand or a large department store. In the past, it used to be large brands, department stores, advertising, full-page spreads, paying 20 grand for one day. Well, today, because the internet's so new, any brand, the small restaurant on the corner can compete with a large department store with proper marketing. So in terms of costs and dollars, it really levels the playing field. A small restaurant on the corner or a medium-sized hotel in Vancouver can easily compete with a large national chain. It really depends on how well you guys are able to utilize your strategies. Now, most businesses don't know what to do when it comes to marketing. Most businesses try it for a bit, or try anything for a bit for a few weeks, and then they give up. They say, oh, it doesn't work, I tried it. Yeah, I'm not gonna try it again. 2 years later, yeah, I did that 2 years ago. I tried that email newsletter, it didn't work, I'm not gonna do it again. Well, the challenge with marketing is that because it's a moving target, it changes so much, what you did before might have evolved, or what you did in the past maybe it wasn't done properly. Most people, when they do marketing, they do it for a few weeks. That's not long enough to find actual results. You really should be doing it for a few months if possible, and then you can look back, and as you're going along, you're still adjusting. But to get real metrics, you really have to give enough time and go deep enough in it. It's better to go deeper in 3 to 5 strategies than do 10 really superficially and switching all the time. So today I'm going to be talking about a hybrid model of marketing. Now this next bit here is going to be more about the history of marketing and a bit, it might be a bit of too much information, so just bear with me for the next couple minutes because it gets better, I promise you. But I felt it was important for some of you who are really keen marketers to understand how we got to where we are today. So this is a model for hybrid integrated marketing. This is something that we're using. And I'll explain every step of this. So I know some of you in the back probably are squinting your eyes, not be able to see, but don't worry, I'll explain this. All right, so traditionally, back in the 1940s and 1950s, we started with marketing. Pretty much, if you had a business, you marketed for yourself. And the most obvious ways were radio, newspapers, and television. You'd call them up and say, can I put an ad here? I want to get more customers. And they would say, sure, give me 10, back then would be 500, but give me a lot of money and I'll put you on. Well, this has worked for a lot of brands because back then there was very low customer touch points. Really just had like a community newspaper or a television, a few channels. So it was very effective, but also very expensive. Well, marketers soon saw that businesses were doing this, so they came on the scene and started offering their services to businesses in the form of traditional marketing and PR. So these are where advertising agencies come in, and you have marketing agencies like Ogilvy in New York who would do large campaigns and win awards for it, and it would cost an arm and a leg. But for many decades, advertising companies were the place to be and the only place to go to get marketing done. Well, that has changed with the internet, because now with the internet, your website is one of your key marketing places. It's the place where all your information is stored. You can really adjust it. But back in the 1991, 92-ish, when websites first started coming out, it was mostly informational sites. People would go there because they had interest in like cartoons or whatever. People would really find niche hobby sites there. Well, over time, as the internet became more and more popular, people started using websites for much more than just putting in baseball cards. So what has evolved from a large collection of websites online is social media and search in terms of your marketing. Now, how many of you guys here are using social media in some way, some form? So that's almost everyone. So everyone has either Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn. And by the way, you guys aren't on LinkedIn, you guys should be on it right away. It's one of the best tools for our industry here. When it's B2B. If you're doing B2C, however, Twitter and Facebook are key. All right, so how many of you guys have ever used Google? Okay, I know you're lying back there. Okay, you can raise your hand. Everyone's used Google today because Google is the search engine that is used at least 80 to 90% of the time when people search. So Bing and Yahoo, in the past, as recent as the early 2000s, they used to be the top. But now they've really shrunken down to maybe 10%. 10, 15%. That's astounding. So as a result, Google got smart and they figured, well, everyone's using our search engine. Why don't we find a way to advertise on our network? So they started doing something called AdWords. Well, how many of you guys have ever clicked on an AdWord or used an AdWord yourself? Okay, many of you guys don't know what it is. AdWords are when you go to your search results, and on the right-hand side of the page, there are a bunch of ads that come up based on what you search for. Well, those are paid for, and they're very effective in terms of driving direct response information to you, so or customers to your brand. Next, we have video. Video is actually already here, although it seems to be the elephant in the room. People know they should be on video. I know you guys watch video. You know, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. We're all addicted to video, because I admit it, I'm addicted to YouTube at middle of the night here, watching music videos. Video is tremendous for your marketing. There's a huge return on investment. Google will actually reward your page 20% more on your quality just by having a video on there. And as you guys all know, you get better customer engagement with a video. You know, people would rather see, videos of your hotel or your restaurant, the food being cooked, people having a good time and eating, than read a 5-paragraph article about why your restaurant's the best in the industry. It's the fact today that if you're not on video today, you'll be left behind tomorrow. Now, if video is here today, what do you think is coming up next? Don't be shy, guys. Just yell it out. Oh, who said mobile? You did. Awesome. We have someone who's ahead of the curve. Mobile is huge. I was at a special Google event last month, and Google is about to push a whole new strategy around mobile. We can really thank Steve Jobs for this, because with the advent of the iPad and iPhone, he's really reinvented the whole industry in terms of marketing online. Now, everything's being developed for the mobile device. Have you guys heard of Windows 8? Well, that is designed, the interface there is based on Windows 7. The back end is based on Windows 7, but the interface is based on a mobile device display. So it's totally designed for the mobile experience. As the internet gets better and faster, you'll find that people will be reverting to tablets or phones more and more. How many of you guys actually have a smartphone? Most of you guys. It's essential for our business today, isn't it? All right, so mobile, yes. What has seemed to have passed us by? How many of you guys have heard of SMS, text messaging marketing? A few of you. It hasn't really hit us here because of all the spam laws, but it's been very prevalent in Europe and Asia as well. We have QR codes also have come, and that's a very interesting tool. I know a few people in the city are interested in providing QR services, so there might be some in the room today. You might want to find that person and ask them about that. But what's really coming up for mobile? Mobile video. How many of you guys have watched YouTube on your smartphone? A few of you guys. Have you guys noticed that they upgraded the YouTube app, and now there's more advertising on the apps now? Well, that's part of Google's strategy. And coming up, mobile websites. If we're looking at stuff on our screens, we want to have an optimized site. So that is the hybrid integrated model. On one side, we have traditional marketing. On the other side, we have online marketing. Well, what are we supposed to pay attention to? Well, looking at this model here, what's happened today in 2012? We are selectively consuming information by ignoring traditional marketing, because we get inundated by ads every day. It's been said that we are exposed to 3,000 brand messages per day. So we learn to filter them out. And we're selectively consuming the information that we're looking at that moment in time. So if we're typing in, for example, best smartphone to use, for video, or, you're not going to be paying attention to ads that are coming up for, best dishwasher coming up. You want to know about the best smartphone you can get, which is, by the way, the Galaxy S3 by Samsung. I just got one recently. It's awesome. So if you're selectively consuming what you're looking for at that time and you're ignoring everything else, if you have a brand, such as a restaurant or hotel or whatever it is, you really want to be focusing on making that brand visible and having so much a claim to it, making so much buzz around it so that your audience is finding you at the moment they want to find you. So that means you want to build your marketing around your brand and your website. Now, your website is the only place on the internet where you have 100% control over your information. How many of you guys have a business that has been reviewed on Yelp or Urban Spoon or Dine Here? Okay. How many of you guys have heard about businesses that have been reviewed on Yelp that weren't happy with the review? And it wasn't because of the service or food, or it was because of something really silly. Well, unfortunately, you don't have control over what people post, but you have control over your own website, and people will go to your website, especially if you're in hospitality, especially if you're a restaurant or hotel, to see what you look like, to get a sense of what kind of standard you have. We all do this. We go there because we want to make sure that we're making the best choice. Well, that means that you want to build all your marketing around your website and update that constantly. People are looking, you want people to return on a constant basis to see what new information you're putting up. Oh, and by the way, there's a special promotion you have coming up. Now, it's key to have a great website, but your website has to be based on the number one thing, that is your brand. Now, how many of you guys have been to one of these brands or accessed one of these brands over the last 12 months? Okay, I know a lot of you guys here are lying in this room because I know you guys have all gone to McDonald's in the last 12 months. I was there this morning, okay? I saw some of you there, okay? So, yes, people go to brands because it's the best choice. Now, Canada, we have in Ontario, Canada's Wonderland. It is our version of Disney. But do your kids ask, Mommy, Daddy, can I go to Canada's Wonderland? Or do they say, can I go to Disney? They want to go to Disney because they heard of this brand. That's a power of the brand that you want to create for your business. Now, this is based on your foundation, which is your brand, which is your key message, which creates a loyal following. So your brand is not your logo. It's the intrinsic, unique selling point you have. And if you have a good brand, you have a following that will endorse you, that will follow you no matter what. Even if you make mistakes, they will forgive you and defend you. And your website, which is your central hub, and you control the content. Now, this is all based on your secret sauce. Now, how many of you guys have heard this concept of secret sauce? Okay, let me explain. This is the number one reason why people come to you. This is why people buy Coke. That special formula for Coke, only 2 people in the world know what it is, and they can't be on the airplane at the same time because it's so secret, they don't want people to copy it. How many of you guys have heard of White Spot's Triple O sauce? It's a special sauce that they have for their burgers, really good, by the way, and people go there because they can only get it there. So think about your brand. What is your secret sauce? What's the one thing that you have and you do better than everyone else that you can promote and make as one of your key marketing pillars? Now, if you don't have a secret sauce, if you're also as good as everyone else, you're just becoming a Me Too brand, and you don't want to be doing that because now you're competing on price. Because at some point, if someone can go somewhere else for something better, you're going to have to lower your prices to attract more customers. Well, discounting is the fastest way to closing down your business. Now, when it comes to marketing, I always get questions about, how do I figure out how to market? What am I supposed to do first? Well, let me explain to you very simply 2 ways that you want to look at your marketing from this point on. So in the future, when you hear about marketing, you'll categorize your marketing in 1 or 2 areas. First, we have builders. Builders are activities that lay the foundation for your future success. So, for example, your website. You can build your website today, and you may not get customers tomorrow, but 6 months from now, if you've done a good job with it, you can, it would become a go-to place that people will be checking every day to see what's going on. So that will start attracting customers. So there are no immediate results, unfortunately, but they're vitally important because as builders, you want to have something that's long-term. Google encourages that, they reward that. You want to have something long-term, with, consistency with your service, consistency with your food, because you want people to talk about you and build that loyal following. So really think about, when it comes to marketing, what are your building activities? Second, we have drivers. Now, what are drivers? Well, they're the opposite. They're marketing activities that get immediate results. So, for example, if you send a tweet out there saying, if you come to my restaurant today, you get free hot dogs. Well, that will get people in for that moment right there. But the drawback there creates lots of buzz, but it doesn't last. So tomorrow, those people that came today may not come back. They forgot about you already. So the challenge with drivers is they are important in terms of getting the word out, getting the buzz out, but in terms of the long-term effect, they are not as powerful as as builders. Ideally, for your marketing, you want to be doing both. So you want to have something substantial for them to follow you with. And you want to blast the message out and just get people to continue coming back to your brand and finding you. So you can be doing Groupon. There's a strategy to that too. So I don't recommend everyone do Groupon just like that. We can talk about that later if you're really interested. So you can be going out there to do Groupon. You can be going out there to do direct mail. You can be going out there to have special promotions through Dine Out. But have a way to capitalize that on the back end. Have a way to have people see your website and become a loyal customer, which is why you're doing it in the first place. Now, how many of you guys think you understand the difference between builders and drivers? Did I do a good job explaining it? Yeah? Okay. So I always like to ask the audience to tell me what you think these marketing activities are. Are they a builder or a driver? So website, is this a builder or a driver? So builders, show of hands. Okay, drivers. Okay, now I gave the answer earlier in the talk, so you weren't listening, were you? They are builders. The reason is because when you build your website, over time, they become more and more powerful if you work on it. Second, email newsletter. Is this a builder or driver? So builders, show of hands. Drivers, show of hands. Okay, so these are actually drivers because you can send an email out with a special coupon, and people might use it, for that emailing out. But a month later, they forget about it. You got to send another one out. So the exception to this is if you're consistent with your newsletter. So you put one out every month, every Monday, every week, whatever. So people expect it. Then you create a brand around the newsletter. Then that can become a builder. But nonetheless, if you're doing newsletters, most of the time they are drivers. How about branding? So when you're figuring out what is the key essence of your brand, your business, your restaurant, your hotel, is this a builder? Okay, how about as a driver? Wow, okay, 100%. Yes, it's a builder. How about social media? Is this a builder? Is this a driver? Both? A lot of confused faces here. Okay, so here's the thing about social media. It's actually both. However, it's more so a driver. The only case where social media is a builder is the fact that you must have these accounts and you must have something on them. Because I know people might start them but never use them. The reason is because when people Google you, these all show up on your search listings. On Facebook, people might type in your brand to see if you have anything there. That's the extent of it being a builder. So you're found on those platforms. But after that, it's really a driver because you can be doing tremendous on Twitter today, have a huge following, everyone's talking to you, everyone loves you. But the moment you stop, almost the same day you stop, people forget about you. So the same thing with all other social media, Pinterest, Facebook. So they are more towards the driver's side. All right, great. So given this then, the key strategy that you want to take away with you is by using content, by putting so much information on your website so people want to find you, then you position yourself as the leader, the obvious choice in your business. So if you're a restaurant and you show how great your food is, how it's being made, that makes people think of you. If you have a hotel that perhaps you guys are proud of some certain aspect of your hotel, maybe you guys, how many of you guys heard about the Best Washroom Awards that was given out earlier this year? Well, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Now people will remember those, there's a hotel here, there's a hotel in Victoria. The key is to keep building on what you have now so that you overtake and dominate everyone else. Now, when it comes to building a brand, it's not you have to be the best. You just have to be better than the person below you, Well, when it comes to building your brand for your hotel or restaurant, it's one of those things where it doesn't matter what you have now. As long as you start and work on it consistently, then that is important. Now, one thing I get asked a lot as well is, well, Ronald, there's so many tools. I don't know where to start. Should I start with Pinterest? Should I start with emails? Should I start with a flyer out there? I don't know why this thing is buzzing. That's not my computer. All right. So the key thing is don't worry about the tools. Choose 2 or 3 to go deep into. And if they don't work, switch them up later on. The reason is because we have a concept called change velocity. Now, I mentioned how we have, we've seen how MySpace was around and then it got, destroyed by Facebook. Well, change velocity means what we have today is going to evolve and change, especially as tablets get better, especially as more and more people access the internet. So as a result, don't worry about the tools. Choose a few and go deep into it because something will change in the future. So I'm going to see if I can turn this thing off. Hold on. Sorry about that. All right. So yeah, don't worry about what tool to use, but just focus. I guess that's not. Hold on. Let me see this. Just focus on picking a few strategies. And if you don't know, there's a lot of people who can help. Ask any student what strategy that they recommend, and they'll tell you. That's a big hint. There are a lot of students in the room here too. All right. So again, don't focus on the tools. What will you focus on then? Well, always focus on the message and the content. So you want to be doing education-based selling. This is the information age, or rather, we just got out of the information age. But you still will have to have your information online somewhere, right? So that's typically your website. Beyond your website, of course, other people's websites or review sites are big. There are a lot of ways to get your word and message out. Shareable content is important because remember, we are in the recommendation age. Your cousin and your little sister are tweeting and Facebooking about where they went to for breakfast this morning, and they want people to go there too. So you want people to be doing the same for your brand. And profile building. Now, the objective of marketing is not just to put a bunch of information out there, is to raise your profile so that people find you right when they're selectively consuming information. Now, content needs to engage. How? Well, it really depends on your particular goal. If you're trying to build your brand, if you're a hotel and you want people to know about you, your strategy might be different than if you're a restaurant just trying to get people to come in on Monday nights. So, your goal will dictate what your strategy is. Depends how well you know your audience. If you don't know who's coming in, if you never sat down and figure out, really thought about who your ideal customer is, then how do you get more of those people? You want to have more of those best customers that will endorse you and evangelize for you. And what do you offer? Are you a generalist? So are you a me too? You sort of do a bit of everything? Or are you a specialist? Are you the best at doing poutine in the city? Are you the best seafood restaurant? So the better you focus on one key thing, the more you become known for that one thing. And people will come to you for other things the moment that, they recognize that you're good at something. So the key here, and I'm not really going to go deep into this topic because this is a whole huge topic on its own, is to understand the sales funnel. Now, how many of you guys have heard about the sales funnel? Show of hands. Okay, a few of you guys. Basically, what this means is just mind your audience. And if you know how they think, you'll know how to create your message to attract them at certain stages of their buying cycle. But nonetheless, this is a really interesting concept. I recommend you guys look up if you guys are really, really keen on finding out more. So the key, 2 ways to measure success. What do you guys think those are? So just yell them out, whatever you think they are. Results. Okay. What sort of results? Profitable. Excellent. I know we have a lot of restaurateurs in the room then. All right. What other ways? Okay. Repeat business. Okay. Good. New business. Excellent. So they all sort of funnel into one category there, which is great. The 2 ways to measure success. First, profile and brand raising. Because you want to be recognized, because that will get you more customers. You want to build a community around you, because people will come to you over and over and over again. And that makes you the obvious choice. So imagine you had all 3 for your brand. Wouldn't that get more people coming to you? right, over a long-term basis. But of course, for all the business owners in the room, I know you guys, especially in this industry, are really conscious of this part. The other way that's equally as important to measure your success is, yes, increase revenue, the most obvious one. If you don't have revenue coming in, you don't have a business, right? Well, you want to get more leads, more prospects, so you guys were completely right, and more sales. This all comes down to the bottom line. But you will not get increased revenue without profile and brand raising. And the better that you raise your profile and brand, the more revenue you get. It's sort of the egg and chicken thing, isn't it? So given these two goals, a lot of you guys are thinking, the number one and the only way to raise, to measure success is how much money you make, at the end of the month or end of the year. Well, I contend that start thinking about the other one, how to build your brand, and you'll find that there are a lot of things that you guys could be doing and should be doing to get more money coming in. So that's just something for you to think about, isn't it? All right, so this type of marketing, I call it the hybrid integrated marketing, but there are a lot of other names for this. This is also known as inbound marketing, reciprocity marketing, content marketing, attraction marketing, and from Google's point of view, it's also called the zero moment of truth. So if you really think about it, all these names sort of make sense. The Zero Moment of Truth is a book that Google put up. It's online. That really talks about how to get customers the moment before they start searching for you. So isn't that interesting? So how to access your customer base before they even start thinking about buying your service. So the rest of it, though, is pretty obvious with the names, isn't it? Now, your challenge is, what are you going to do with your marketing today? So if you start by updating your website, writing articles, and making videos, hint, hint, big hint here, okay? And promoting on social media, and these are a whole bunch of tools you should use, then you raise your profile and will be remembered. Now, this is so key in hospitality today. If you decide to do nothing, if you decide to focus on the tools, and as you can see from this Swiss Army knife, there's way too many tools out there. Don't focus on them all. Or just like me, be addicted to videos online. Then what happens is you will get stressed because money isn't coming in, and you start getting anxious and really cranky as a boss. All right. Now, which is better? Would you rather be doing well in your business, or would you rather be really stressed and having your employees hate you? It's pretty obvious, right? You want to be doing well, so you can take time off, right? All right. So do we have any questions up to this point? Because I will go into the new Google services, but in the first part of this talk, I want to make sure you really understand the key concepts here on how to tell different types of marketing that you can do, as well as how to measure your marketing and what to do to get better marketing. Yes, question?
It's kind of seasonal based. Do you have any suggestions for local marketing for restaurants for the Christmas season?
For Christmas? See, if you then start planning your Christmas campaign and marketing now, I'd start literally after today.
Execution time.
Execution time, yes. Especially because in this industry, in Vancouver here, it's so competitive. There's so many great restaurants that the ones that are marketing now or planning now, they'll get the marketing out by the end of November. Then people, when they're starting to think about Christmas parties and bookings, then they'll start thinking, of booking you. I think the majority of restaurants wait until it's too late. They start thinking about planning marketing at the end of November or December, and they try to scramble to get Christmas parties and bookings. But at that point, they've already made the bookings, right? In fact, I assume you have a restaurant. You should be thinking about Valentine's Day at this point. So between now, New Year's, the sort of the dead area time between January to February, and then Valentine's. So if you start planning your marketing up to there, then it'll be less stressful for you.
So what about pubs then? Forget restaurants. What about if you got pubs?
Yeah, it depends.
30-block radius. Pubs are 30-block radius.
Yeah, so most pubs are servicing, your best customers are coming from a 6-block to 6-kilometer radius. And it really depends on what you're doing in your pub. Do you have specials? People come to you for a certain reason, or your sports bar. So figure out what is your key thing that's already attracting people, And because I don't know what your pub is or where it's located, geographically in this city, you could be a block the wrong way and that'll be done. Enough, won't be good for you. But if you're in the right position, in the right place, with a lot of, key, maybe anchors around you, then it could be good for you. Now you got to poll your customers, find out what they want, see who's coming in for when, what type of customers are coming in. Are they an older demographic, just come and sit and eat and they sort of nurse their beer, or do you have a young demographic that's coming in, 25 to 35, that's spending a lot of money? So a lot of these factors come in. But yeah, it sounds like you're trying to think of a key strategy for Christmas. So why don't you meet me afterwards and I can give you some strategies when I find out more about your brand. Any other questions?
How do you target people who don't really use technology, like my mom, who can barely use her cell phone?
Yeah, that's a good question. Although 93% of people are searching online, there are a lot of people who, they don't really trust technology that much, and a lot of people who don't have time really, So does your mom ask you for referrals, suggestions for places? Does she talk to her friends?
Yeah.
And do her friends use stuff online? You're not sure?
I don't really know, but just because I know.
Okay, let's put it this way. Does your mom watch TV?
Not really.
Not really?
My mom is really
Read papers, anything?
not really. Yeah, she's not very.
Okay, so your mom really basically depends on you for information, right?
I guess, friend recommendations, I guess.
I see. So in that case,
And brand recommendations.
and brand recognition, okay. Well, as we know, we all depend on what people tell us to make better informed decisions. So it could be the case where your mom or any person out there is, sort of removed from technology, but if they're in contact with other humans, and they pay attention to news and what's going on in society, chances are they've been exposed to some brand messages. So what's key here, that if you get enough brand touch points up there and raise your profile enough, at some point, your brand will permeate towards those people who are not online. And by the way, every year, more and more people above the age of 45 are going online. So, that could be changing. My parents are online, and initially I didn't want them to be online because I didn't want them looking me up and whatever. But they got in there, on their own accord anyway, and they're always there every day. So, nonetheless, it's going to happen. They'll find more about you somehow, some way, anyway. Yes.
I just had a question. You said that we should kind of expect what's coming next for Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or,
Stay ahead of the curve.
yeah, for people who might not be so into Facebook, it seems that they would not be willing to invest in something that's just going to change tomorrow. So should we not focus on evolving what we already have as opposed to focusing on something new and next?
That's a good question. The question is, should we focus on evolving what we have now instead of focusing on what's next?
Yeah.
Is that the question? Yes, we have to focus, keep ahead of the curve and pay attention to what's coming up next. However, certain brands, such as Facebook, you can expect them to be around for a long time. You can expect LinkedIn to be around for a long time. So those are channels and tools that are worth investing in. Tumblr last year was so hot, but it only lasted for about 3 or 4 months and then it sort of fizzled out. So that was not a good tool to stay, attached to. So this is where you really have to, look at the history of marketing, talk to a few other marketers, and pick 3 or 4 that you think will go far. But doesn't mean that you're married to them. So if it comes to the case where, it's not working for you for a certain tool, switch to something else. The key here is not to, diversify too much. Now, as far as paying attention to what's next, if you keep your head, keep your ear to the ground, you will hear about what's coming in next, which is video and mobile. So, and photos, by the way. So there's always ways that you can figure out what are your best bets. Now, there are no guarantees online because when MySpace was out, everyone thought that was the best thing ever. But now look where they are, right? So, it's always, as marketing is always, like I said, hitting a moving target, you're always making your best bet, your most educated guess. And hopefully, the chips and the dice fall where you want them to. But if you're on top of your game, you will adjust and adapt when things sort of go awry, which hopefully doesn't happen too much, but you never know.
I don't want to be closed-minded or anything. I just want to. I'm thinking, we as consumers, we expect change because it's happening so often. So should we try and train our customers to to focus on one thing as opposed to telling them that there's something else coming up next?
Good question.
When they expect something coming, we should give them
Because our customers, you mean in terms of technology or in terms of marketing yourself?
both.
So the question is, should we be educating our customers to expect the next thing and telling them what to do? It really depends how sophisticated your customers are. But for the most part, I can tend to find out what they're already doing and where they are and what their habits are. Then you can always be ahead of what they're doing. So if your customers are very social media savvy, it's really easy to access them right now. If your customers are not, but they read the newspaper or they look at their mail, maybe direct mail is another way. So yeah, so we can discuss this more afterwards if you still have questions about that. Okay, one more question. Yes.
Do you have any measurable, objective metrics that you can look at to evaluate the success or failure of your campaign, your website, or your social media campaign?
All marketing, especially if it's done online, should be based on some metrics. A mistake a lot of social media people did in the past, which is a big criticism that I have and I know a lot of people have, is when social media came out, a lot of people started using it, and then because they were using it, they suddenly became experts and wanted to promote for that. The problem is, a lot of these people, these experts, didn't have proper business training or marketing training. So they never thought about measuring their results. They just thought, oh, I got more people tweeting or following me today. That's great. So they were measuring the wrong thing. So all marketing campaigns should have metrics built in from your step goals to your overall goal that's measured over time. So there are a lot of ways you can do that, from setting up your, if it's online, there's usually tools that won't have metrics for it. If you're measuring your brand and your engagement and revenue, you can set up actually charts and little, Excel formulas to figure that out as well. Hopefully that helps. All right, so let me move on to the next part, which is the Google service. So we have about 13 minutes before the session ends. So Google service. Today's Canadian digital audience, 93% of people are going online. 44% of people are using YouTube. 25% of people would rather give up TV before their smartphone. And 64% of people in Canada have a mobile social media profile. Online video today is huge. 25 million people watch video online. 91% of videos reach the entire population of Canada. That's tremendous. What other form of advertising will do that? And 7.9 billion videos are watched every month. So every person, on average, is consuming 30 hours or more of video. So why is video so popular? Well, it's driven by mobile. It's easy to make. In the past, when I was filmmaking in the early 2000s, it would be easily 15 to 30,000 for a 1 or 2 minute video. Today, it's gone down so much that you can do a 1 or 2 minute video from $750 to $2,000. It's tremendously cheap right now. And because greater speed and bandwidth, with internet getting faster, more people are able to consume video. And of course, people are becoming ADD. We don't want to read, we'd rather watch video because it's quick and fast. So YouTube, of course, is the biggest driver for video. And it increases in terms of viewership, 30%, 32% every year. That's huge. Now, what happens, so if it increased by 32% this year, what about next year? Well, what we are able to do now is we're able to do YouTube videos as advertisements as part of Google's display network. So these are commercials that can be used to promote your business, and they cost less than actual regular AdWords campaigns. So what are these videos? This is a very popular video, Gangnam Style. But if you see here, in the bottom right-hand corner of the video screen, there's an ad that you can skip in 5 seconds. How many of you guys have ever encountered that? A few of you guys. Well, that is huge branding. The city of Vancouver is using advertisements as a pre-roll before the video to get the word out. It's very effective, and it's very new from Google AdWords. So if you don't have a video already, we'll be happy to make you one, of course. Now, the next big thing that we're really excited about, this is new in Vancouver. We are a Google Trusted Photographer. What that is quick question. How many of you guys have ever used Google Places, also called Google Plus Local? It's when you type in Google, and a bunch of listings show up with a map beside it for, if you're typing in Google, for a restaurant or a hotel in Vancouver. Well, this is the Google Places, which is basically Google's version of the Yellow Pages. So every one of you will have a listing, whether or not you created it yourself or not, unless you're a very new business. Most of you should have gone there to Google Places and updated your profile because it's important towards your search engine ranking. But nonetheless, Google has also scraped the Yellow Pages directories, and they might put you on already. You might even know it. You might not even know that you're on there. So this is a listing, a Google Places listing. How many of you guys know where we are here? Vancouver Convention Center. Well, this is the listing for that. Google Places is important because it helps your website rank higher. It helps you be found in Google search, and allows other people to recommend you because they can write reviews on your Google Places. Google recently bought Zagat last year, which is the world's largest review site. And they integrated with Google Places because one of their strategies is to make Google Places the go-to place to find out more information about your business, and reviews are a huge part of that. And because 33% of all searches online have a local intent, so that means 33% of searches done in Vancouver are for a service or a business or a location based in Vancouver, it's important that you're found when people are looking for you. Now, how many of you guys have used Street View? Wow, a lot of you guys. That's great. So this is where we are again, Vancouver Convention Center. You've all seen this, I'm sure. How many of you guys have seen this? This is the Street View, which is where Google had a bunch of little Volkswagens that drove around with a camera on top. They took photos of the entire city, and as a result, you can actually walk through every block in Vancouver and see where you are. So you guys all recognize this, right? Yeah? Okay, now imagine this experience where people can walk down the street and find you on the outside for the inside of a business. This is huge. So if you're a restaurant or hotel, now Google will actually show a panoramic walkthrough with this same Street View technology of how you look like inside. So imagine you had say you had a hotel restaurant, and you wanted people to come in because your hotel restaurant is beautiful, which they typically are. Well, someone in Denmark typing in your hotel or hotels in Vancouver, and up comes your Street View of the inside of your restaurant shows up. Isn't that more incentive for them to come find you? Now they can see what you're about, right? Well, this was created about 3 months ago in both Canada and the US. It's a virtual reality tour inside your business. It's placed on your Google Places page, and it also includes a number of still photos. And they can actually be embedded and shared on your website. So there are a lot of ways to use this, but really it's to give your customers an intimate experience of your business before they even get there. It helps them make the buying decision to come to your restaurant to book it for a wedding party, because now you can see how beautiful and how large you are. Now, here's an example that we did last week. This is Novo Pizzeria and Wine Bar on Burrard and 6. So we actually have a walkthrough right through the entire restaurant. They're the first pizzeria in the city to do this, and they've already put it on their website. So if you were looking for a place, nice Italian restaurant to book your party at, and you can actually go here and walk through it, that's powerful stuff. Now, we do these with a really quick turnaround. It's actually very affordable to do these now because Google's pushing them out. We can set up your Google Places if you haven't set up and optimized it. We have the expertise to make you look good, of course. And everything that we do, especially these Google photos, are designed to complement your brand. So this is why, as marketers servicing this industry, we have the inside knowledge of how to make you look good. So that is my talk. Now, again, feel free to find me afterwards for questions. And I also have, again, some draw forms on the first 70 seats here. What is the draw for? Okay, I promised I would tell you guys. Basically, each voucher here, I have actually a voucher here as well for 10% off a Google Street View listing. The draw, we're going to be doing 3 draws. The third prize is 50% off your Street View. The second prize is 30% off. And the grand prize is a free Street View Google Places photograph of your business. So if you're interested in entering, just fill out one of these and pass it to me in the end. I'll be hanging around here for a little bit, and then I'll be in booth 819 downstairs, so feel free to come and ask me any questions you have. So thank you very much for coming. Awesome.
Thank you. Before you go, my introduction to Ronald was as I walked in the room, somebody said, could you introduce this? And so I would like to apologize because I didn't do justice in introducing you and what you were going to say today. But it was fascinating. You know, I come from an era, I used to manage a business, and I used to send payroll to Toronto on a teletype. So you can imagine the changes I've seen through my various careers. But today, I mean, I said that I knew a little bit about marketing in the bus business, but it's the same as what you're doing in the restaurant business, and the similarities. I mean, 35 to 40% of our business is now sold online. I mean, 5 years ago, none. Our website, we have video. We have a YouTube channel. Now, this is not me. I have staff that know what they're doing, thank God. But it's very interesting. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're LinkedIn. You know, all of these things, and it was fascinating for me to learn a bit more about it and to hear what, you know, so when my staff are talking to me about you should do, I'll be saying, okay, and maybe I'll have a couple of questions I can ask them. But I think we all learned something here today. You explained things very well. I wish you well in this whole new Google thing that's happening. I think it's great that you can go in and take a look at some of these buildings. You know, I went out for dinner on Saturday night, and I went to Open Table to find the right restaurant to go to. And I'm sure some of you are from out of town. You'll be looking, where do I go tonight on our open night? So we're going to be using the tools you're talking about. And if you're not there, you're missing out on the opportunity of having a whole bunch of tourism professionals come in there and trash your place tonight. So anyhow, it was very good, and I thank you very much. On your behalf, we've made a donation to the BC Hospitality Foundation.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
And we have a half-hour break, but at 11 o'clock, there are two significant things happening. One that many of you will be interested in is Pillars of Profit Maximization. That's one of the sessions. The other session is a ministerial panel, and that's going to have the Honorable Pat Bell, the Honorable Terry Lake, and the Honorable Mary Polak in a panel situation talking about, taking questions and talking about government and how to deal with government. So it's going to be a great morning. You got the Premier here. I understand there's an announcement coming today. For all of you that are here, enjoy the conference. If you're having any issues, room 6 is where the office is. You can talk to them there. And booth 819, I think, is one where you can get some good information down at the trade show. And the trade show is now open. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Great. Thank you again so much.
Thank you very much. Okay.